Hello everybody, David Shuster here. Vice President J.D. Vance is getting blasted and shamed, and this time, it's over his own words and his own history. In North Carolina, in his first visit to the state since taking office, Vance was supposed to speak about public safety. But the vice president shifted his focus to political violence and blamed Democrats.
If you want to stop political violence, stop telling your supporters that everybody who disagrees with you is a Nazi. If you want to stop political violence, look in the mirror. That's the way that we stop political violence in this country, and we've got to do it.
Clearly, J.D. Vance has never looked in the mirror, because if he did, he would see total hypocrisy. Back in 2016, Vance texted his roommate that Donald Trump could be America's Hitler. Vance was confronted over several of his harsh Trump criticisms last year in an interview on Fox News.
You've said, I'm a never Trump guy, never liked him, terrible candidate, idiot if you voted for him, might be America's Hitler, might be a cynical a-hole, cultural heroine, noxious and reprehensible.
Noxious, reprehensible, Trump might be America's Hitler. But now J.D. Vance is lecturing everybody else about improper language and warning that it sparks political violence. Social media is having a field day. A former editor for Rolling Stone wrote, "The only major politicians who have called Trump Hitler, J.D. Vance and RFK Jr. Republicans Against Trump posted, fun fact, in 2016, Vance called Donald Trump America's Hitler." Other ex-users posted this headline from Rolling Stone last year. J.D. Vance defends false claims against Haitians. If I have to create stories, that's what I'm going to do. Trump and his vice presidential candidate continue to spread debunked rumors claiming immigrants are eating local pets in Ohio. Deliberately spreading hateful and false stories about a minority is something that was actually done by Nazis. But never mind the Trump-Vance actions, there are also the words from Donald Trump. Trump has repeatedly called his political opponents scum, fascists, and communists.
It's a choice between communism and freedom. This is communist, this is Marxist, this is fascist. There's a radical left Marxist, communist, fascist. She's a Marxist. She's a fascist.
That was Donald Trump describing Kamala Harris last year. However, Trump has continued to call Democrats vermin and the enemy within, which are terms that Adolf Hitler used. But let's go back to J.D. Vance. His warning about Democrats inciting political violence came hours after a shooting at an ICE facility in Dallas. Vance squarely blamed the Texas attack on Democrats. He said political violence is not a both sides problem. Here's Vance and then Joe Scarborough on MSNBC.
The political violence in this country, we need the Democratic leadership of Washington, D.C. to look in the mirror.
Yeah. Another lie. I really don't understand why at times like these, the vice president feels like he needs to go out and lie about things that are obviously false. I always talk about the need to support law enforcement. We talked yesterday about the attacks against ICE in July, 2 times in July of this year. Talked about how heinous this shooting was yesterday. It's 3 migrants that were shot, by the way. And all of, I mean, while people were still bleeding, you had politicians pointing fingers at Democrats. You had politicians trying to blame other people before they knew anything. And then you have J.D. Vance saying something, again, that he clearly knows is false.
Even data from a conservative organization proves that Vance is lying. The Koch-funded Cato Institute, a libertarian think tank, recently analyzed politically motivated killings in the United States since 1975. Islamism, thanks to 9/11, accounted for 3,120 victims. Perpetrators on the left accounted for 65. Perpetrators on the right accounted for 391. That is 6 times as many people killed by conservative or right-motivated murderers as killed by left-motivated murderers. And yet, J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, felt compelled to quickly jump to a conclusion about the Dallas shooting, blame it on Democrats, and say political violence is the fault of Democrats and the fault of their use of incendiary language. Let me be clear. If language does cause more political killings than, say, the easy availability of assault weapons, which of course is absurd, Donald Trump and his sycophants own this carnage. They own it also if it's the responsibility of assault weapons, because they've continually blocked common sense gun regulations and legislations. But back to the language, Trump has created more hatred, division, distrust than anybody in America, and J.D. Vance is Donald Trump's top enabler. Vance is willing to lie about anything, anytime, merely to please his deranged and demented boss. Even worse, J.D. Vance has no shame. In other words, thanks to Vance, America is less safe, more dangerous, and increasingly prone to violent lunatics. Because anybody with dangerous delusions right now can look up at our nation's Republican leaders and see kindred spirits. By the way, Donald Trump's FBI Director Kash Patel recently got humiliated to his face by Democrat Jamie Raskin over Patel's hypocrisy on the Epstein files.
Director Patel, before you joined the FBI, you railed against it for covering up Jeffrey Epstein's human trafficking ring. Let me refresh your memory with this clip.
It has Epstein's list. They're sitting on it. That doesn't seem like something you should do. You're protecting the world's foremost predator. That seems like an evil thing to do, regardless of who may be embarrassed in the release of that list. Why is the FBI protecting the greatest pederast, the largest scale pederast in human history?
Simple, because of who's on that list.
So you finished that December 2023 interview with a challenge to the FBI and harsh words for Republicans in Congress for not getting the Epstein files out to the public. You can see this clip.
Boy pants, and let us know who the pedophiles are.
Put on your big boy pants and let us know who the pedophiles are, you said. You emphasized that the president and FBI director each had complete authority to release Epstein's client list.
Check out that video at the link below. I'm David Shuster. Thanks for joining us.